Hi everyone, and welcome to my second sketchbook tour. I actually started this one around the same time as the previous one, but I like to work in multiple sketchbooks at a time, and so that's because each sketchbook typically has a different goal with it. And I started the first one and the second one in 2023. And this one here was actually a Christmas present. So this was December of 2023. And the main goal of this one, as you can see by the ink drawing here, was to really practice pen first drawings and get more confident in my lines without using pencil first. And I really wanted this to be largely a no human notebook. So really appreciating nature and practicing drawing animals much more confidently and different poses using mostly microns. This notebook or sketchbook itself is a Midori Japan or MD paper. I don't know if you can see this very, very light embossing, but yeah, it says MD paper, and it's the size is, I always write this down in the back, is B6, and it has a total of about 176 pages. The paper in this notebook is really thin, and it's kind of bizarre what bleeds through and what doesn't, but in general, the pages are pretty see-through. And you'll see that I typically only use one page. I don't use both sides of the page. The only pages that are more solid are at the front and back. And what's fun about this is because it's like this cardstock material, you can actually draw on it. So for this one, I drew this motif of a wolf running, and every time I looked at it, it was super obvious what I was trying to practice in this particular sketchbook. So that's a really big advantage of this particular notebook. This is a Christmas present from my friend Ellen. It's the second volume, made in Japan. I start here with a quote from Emerson from his essay and pieces Nature, saying, standing on the ground, my head bathed by the blithe air and uplifted into infinite space, all mean egotism vanishes. And I really feel that when I'm in nature, like we're so tiny in the grand scheme of things. This is just some origami paper to add a little splash of color. The furthest, the sketchbook is kind of in two sections. The first section is this illustrated story that I wanted to do called Forest Friends. So this is Forest Friends, and I kept a consistent style with consistent characters, and I hope you like it. So it starts out, with this wolf chasing a rabbit. You can see that, now the wolves are playing with each other. The rabbits see the two wolves playing, but then now they're hiding. This is one of my favorite ones in the series, actually. Then the wolf and the rabbit become friends. Eventually, time passes and the wolf has a little family, and the wolf family encounters a deer family in the woods. Flower intermission because it's just cute and in the forest. The deer they all end up appreciating the flowers, and then the little babies of the deer and the wolf, they also become friends. Then there's a fox that's watching on, very cautious and suspicious. Here he sees the wolf family and the parents on the rocks, and so he's watching, but then the fox decides to really annoy the wolf. And I would say this sort of comical style isn't really normally my style, but I'm trying to experiment with different things in my sketchbooks and just try to have fun and not be a perfectionist. I feel like I'm normally the fox. After being super annoying, they talk it out and they also become friends. And here they start running around the forest together. And in the end, everybody hangs out together happily ever after, despite the differences in their natures and characters. They're in the forest and they're all in the same struggle, and they live here happily ever after at the end. Okay, so part two. Part two is not really a consistent story. I just started to practice different things that were interesting or animals that I wanted to draw, and I ended up keeping more of the comic style just to play with it, and it was really appealing to me in this sketchbook. Here you have a wizard bunny. I was playing a lot of Baldur's Gate 3 at the time, which I still haven't finished, but it is fun. A bunny bard, because why not? Did any of you ever play D&D? And if so, what kind of character did you have? Then I decided to draw a crow wearing a hat. And you can see what I mean with the transparent pages here. Like if I don't hold the page out, you can see exactly what I drew afterward through this drawing. Here I made a note that I'm trying to build a visual library, so I tried to practice different poses of the same animal or whatever thing that I was observing. So yeah, this is some corgis and lots of corgi poses. There's a lot of them at the dog parks, and I just think they're so cute. A German Shepherd. I don't think I totally got the anatomy correct on the German Shepherd by the end of it, but I tried to capture different parts of it running. Yeah, the anatomy is definitely messed up here, but yeah. Oh, and this one, my friend actually gifted me a book about sketchbooks. Sketchbooks from a lot of different artists, and one of them that was featured is Daniel Gemelis. I don't know if I'm saying their name right, but he has this great quote that sketchbooks are inherently personal, and sometimes you'll see them, but many times never, and that's okay. I also have a lot of bad art in here, and I'm okay with that. It's a sketchbook. This is also interesting. I don't know why, but the pens that I used for this one did smudge, and they also bled through. I'm not sure why these pens bled through and the others didn't, because they're not that different from the other colored pens that I used, and those didn't bleed through. Oh, this one, I did a live painting recording of this. I'll put a link to that below in case you're interested in watching that, but I wanted to do a series of funny animal comics that are actually talking about serious AI ethics problems. And so this one is a computer vision model misclassifying these corgis as hot dogs, and they're really sweating it out. Similarly, we have two bunnies that are misclassified as pate, so they're saying goodbye to each other. This one's a bit sad. And a little bit of dark Silicon Valley humor for you. This one was actually inspired by a Kafka story. He's a great author. He wrote a short story called Metamorphosis, leading into World War II. And there's this character, Gregor Samsa, who is a human, but then one day wakes up and he's a roach. And yeah, the story also highlights a lot of bureaucracy. I'll put some more information below, but this is the Silicon Valley play on Gregor Samsa, and yeah, I don't know why, but I thought this was, I was inspired by that in some interactions. This is the venture capital version of Gregor Samsa, and yeah, this is leading a board meeting with his, I'm not really sure what these were meant to be. I think I wanted them to be rats, but this final version kind of looks a bit weird. And this one is inspired by people that are developing applications for food delivery done by drones. And I thought it would be a cute play on that concept to have this bird or bird of prey delivering Uber Eats stuff. And so maybe there's a feature where hawks are doing that. I don't know. And here, I'm really lucky to live in the Bay Area in some aspects. And the Muir Woods are extremely close to us. And this is a quote from John Muir, that the clearest way into the universe is through a forest, wilderness, and I couldn't agree more. I really wanted to draw pandas. Pandas are so cute. I ended up drawing this one a bit more comically than I typically would, but that seems to be the theme in the second part of the sketchbook. So the little panda series where pandas are eating, it's really happy with this bamboo, and now the plates are empty, it's got nothing, but they're really happy and satisfied. Yeah, I really like these. They came out cute. I also found that adding a frame does a lot, and I started to play a lot more with composition. Okay, this is the only section you're going to see any human-like things and human sketches. I mentioned earlier that I got this for Christmas, and I actually started drawing in the middle of the sketchbook when I first got it. During Christmas to test it out with some ballpoint pen. And yeah, I spent Christmas in Miami that year with friends. And so that's why this section has a couple of human things. This is a cute couple that I saw at the airport on my way back from Miami, going home to San Francisco. And this is Biscayne Beach, which is really beautiful. And the weather was incredible, especially for, I mean, this was winter, but it was so warm. And I also visited the Vizcaya Gardens place, a palace, and saw this amazing gray heron looking so regally out across everything. And yeah, I just drew this live with ballpoint pen, sitting outside of Biscayne, a Brickell Key. Yeah, this is Brickell Key. And yeah, this is dated a little after Christmas. It was such a gorgeous day to sit outside and draw. And here we have a quote from another author I really liked when I was younger, Dante Alighieri. "Nature's the art of God," is what he said. And he's the author of the Divine Comedy, which is a great series. But apparently I can't spell his name. And here I wanted to start practicing a bit more composition. So there's a couple of bears walking in a snowy landscape. I had a lot of fun doing this one, which is more of a silhouette, and using some of my light washes. I have some colored washes that are this Koi brush brand. These are some gestures of wolves running. And oh, this is inspired by when I was young. I grew up playing this game called Go in English, or Paduk in Korean, and Weiqi in Chinese. And it's a really difficult game, but there's also this Japanese manga that's all about this game called Hikaru no Go. And for some reason I thought a fox would be perfect to be playing this, and so I did a little series of this fox finding a really cool move, which is pretty hard to do in Go, and then feeling really successful that they found out. This is one of my few colored pieces. This is just colored pencil and microns, and it's an elephant family walking to an oasis. Here are some penguins. They're super cute here and gathered around. And then the next scene, the penguin notices and is in shock and scared of this orca or killer whale. Random Japanese melon sticker thing, a quote from Charlotte McConney from the book Once There Were Wolves. She was quoted in the book saying, "Wolves don't need forests, they grow them." Then I did a little series with tigers. I love tigers. They're so cool. And here's just, yeah, a tiger lazing in the tree. Lions that I did with blue color pencil, Prismacolor pencils, and I tried to make them a bit more like in love over the sunset. And here, this is them watching the sunset or sunrise. I don't know. I only used one color, so maybe sunrise is more realistic. Here, this is a horror movie mouse, you know, this key decision like to get the cheese to be or not to be. Oh, these gophers. These are California gophers and they're so cute. You can find them in open preserve trails and spaces here. They're really, really tiny and they just peek their heads out briefly. And if they see anything, they just scurry back down. So this is what I imagine them kind of playing, and then this is them being scared and popping their heads out of the hole. But I really had fun practicing silhouettes in this series. Here are some ducks inspired by actually real ducks that I saw at an open space preserve. They were chilling on a log, and in my head I pretended that they were gossiping. So these ducks are gossiping. I'm practicing the duck in a more comical style. Kitty cat sleeping, because why not? And here I tried to capture that annoying look that, well, humans give you this look too, but cats, especially when you interrupt their nap, they kind of give you this dirty look. More kitty sleeping. I think the anatomy looks a little weird on this one, and I should probably get rid of that line, but you get the idea. Another Ralph Waldo Emerson quote, adopt the pace of nature. Her secret is patience. I'm definitely not patient. This is another colored one I had fun with. This just color pencil, and the gray is from a koi brush pen. Some practice in a different pose. Here I wanted to practice the panther using mostly silhouettes and trying to draw some water with a thinner micron. I'm not really happy with this one, but you see where I was trying to go with it. Here's a little hummingbird and a random Shiba Inu sticker. And it's a collage to mark the end that I'm getting there, with some butterflies and Shiba Inu stickers. And here's the last message that I'm going to leave you with. Yeah, storms make trees take deeper roots. So adversity definitely makes us stronger. We're certainly in some adverse times, but in the end, love wins. Here you go. Fresh air junkie, let's appreciate the outside. And thank you so much for joining me on the sketchbook tour. It was so much fun working on this, and I'm really happy to share it with you. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks so much, and if you enjoyed it, please give a like and subscribe. Cheers!